Let me tell you something. If you'd ever like to see what pure, concentrated suburban insanity looks like, just try watching your HOA president dial 911 on your wife for changing the locks on your own damn property. No, I'm not kidding. And get this. While the cops are still trying to figure out if they accidentally drove onto a sitcom set, this woman, manicured, smug, utterly unfazed, starts demanding our master keys, for community safety. Yeah, that's how my Friday started. Maybe you're shaking your head, thinking this is one of those internet stories, a little exaggerated, a little too neat. But let me tell you, if you'd been standing next to me, watching Karen Whitfield jab her finger in my wife's face, spitting out phrases like, "These people don't understand community rules," you'd still taste that same metallic rage I did. It's weird, isn't it? How anger can feel cold and electric at the same time. But here's the part that would have made you spit out your coffee. What Karen didn't know. My wife, Sarah, she isn't just some difficult resident. She's Deputy U.S. Marshal Sarah Morrison. And for 3 months, while Karen was busy inventing reasons to fine us, Sarah was quietly documenting a $400,000 embezzlement ring. All of it tied up neat as a bow, right under Karen's nose. Maybe you're thinking, what would you do if your HOA tried to get you arrested for, I don't know, replacing your own front door? Me? I just tried to breathe. But when Sarah finally flashed her federal badge, I swear, Karen's face went from confident pink to ghost at a funeral, white in under 3 seconds. That was the moment the whole neighborhood realized why their dues kept vanishing. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So, I'm Jake Morrison, 45, grayer than I like to admit, retired Air Force mechanic. I figured I'd survived enough miniature tyrants to last 3 lifetimes. Military lifers, micromanaging bosses, even one Thanksgiving with my in-laws when politics came up. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for Pine Ridge Mountain, Colorado, and its self-crowned queen, Karen. Sarah and I moved in about 2 years back, right after her grandma left us this ancient little cabin. I love the place. 847 people, each with their own overbuilt rustic retreat, scattered around forested lots, so big you could get lost just mowing the grass. You ever step out on a deck and just smell the pine sap while the sun's barely up? That's what most mornings were like, before all the madness. See, Grandma Morrison built her cabin way before the HOA. Back then it was just forest and the occasional bear. Our property rights were grandfathered in, written into county records long before Karen ever got her first real estate license. Sarah and I poured everything into that place, $180,000 to make it our dream home. I figured we'd spend our weekends fixing things. Sarah would travel for her mysterious government work, and life would be slow, predictable, safe. Sarah never talks details about her job. She always said something about financial investigations, operational security. She'd laugh it off, but it turns out a little professional paranoia can save your life. That morning, everything started. I was just standing outside, watching the mist roll off the mountains, coffee in hand. Sarah comes out, still half in work mode, watering flowers, her belt squeaking the way it does when she moves too fast. And then, white Escalade TR1 vanity plates pulls up like a tank. I didn't need a name to know who it was. Karen Whitfield, the kind of woman who could spot a building code violation from the parking lot at church. She's married to some city councilman, runs the HOA, acts like the universe only exists to reinforce her opinions. She walks up, clutches a manila envelope like it's proof of war crimes, and says, "Mr. Morrison," not a hello, more like a warning. She hands me an official violation notice for unauthorized exterior modifications. Apparently, our beautiful new oak door with stained glass, the one I spent a month building, was an eyesore that damaged community harmony. $500 fine. Restore immediately or face a lien. It's funny, the little things you remember, like how rough the deck felt under my bare feet, or the way Karen waved her hand at our house like she was pointing out a dumpster fire. Now, we had legal rights, grandfathered property, I told her. Predates the HOA by 40 years. Karen just laughed, a sound that could probably strip paint. Grandfathered rights don't override community standards, sweetie. This monstrosity affects everyone's property values. That, sweetie. You ever hear someone weaponize a word? That's what it felt like. Sarah, she's calm, even then, says, we've read the governing documents. There's no door restriction. Karen goes venomous. I've been protecting these standards before you people ever showed up. You people. Loaded phrase, right? And here's the thing about HOAs nobody tells you. If their rules aren't filed with the county, they're just expensive toilet paper. But Karen's got her script. 30 days, or we pursue a forced sale. Sarah's tapping her wedding ring against her mug. Quiet. Eyes working a problem. We'll explore our options, I tell Karen, who just grins wider. Some residents need to learn that harmony requires financial commitment. When she said financial, I felt it in my gut. After she leaves, that cloud of diesel smoke still hanging in the air, I turn to Sarah and say, can she do this? But Sarah's already dialing, her face showing a look I'd only ever seen when her football team blew the playoffs. And trust me, that's saying something. Well, I didn't know. Sarah was about to use every tool in her kit. And believe me, her kit's bigger than you'd think. 3 days later, Karen's back. Not just her, either. She brings an inspection crew like she's starring in her own reality TV episode. Contractor, board members, the whole parade. They claim they're here for a property inspection because of anonymous safety complaints. My table saw's still running, with shavings in my hair, when I realize this isn't about safety. This is about intimidation. The contractor circles our house, muttering about foundation issues and electrical nightmares. Sarah steps in, cool as you like. Do you have a state inspection license? The guy practically shrinks in place. I'm a contractor. That wasn't the question. Karen covers for him. He's her trusted guy. She tries to pivot to the security violation of us changing our own locks. That's when it hits me. Karen's just making up rules now. She's improvising, and I can almost hear the gears grinding. Sarah doesn't miss a beat. Which board meeting approved this policy? Emergency session, March 2021. Only problem? Colorado law says even emergency sessions need 72 hours written notice to all members. Sarah had researched it. Like I said, she does nothing halfway. Karen tries to bluff her way through. Emergency overrides procedure. Sarah just smiles, pulls up the law on her phone, reads it out. The contractor looks like he wants to disappear. I step in, let my military posture do the talking. You're on private property, without permission, citing rules that don't exist. This is your last warning. The best part? Sarah points out that demanding master keys is a privacy violation under state law. Karen's face is now redder than a stop sign. She huffs about community safety superseding privacy. Sarah just asked for the vote tallies, meeting minutes. Karen can't produce a thing. Her board members start to look nervous. They leave, but not before Karen throws out one more threat. Legal technicalities won't protect you forever. Right. If you've never lived under a petty dictator, let me paint you a picture. Over the next week, Karen launches what I'd call psychological warfare. Every day, a new board member shows up at our door, concerned about our car, our electricity, our landscaping, whatever. All fake emergencies. By Wednesday, even the city's electrical inspector shows up. Reports of unauthorized business activity. He pokes around, finds nothing, leaves with a forced smile. Sarah just stands there, mug in hand, wedding ring tapping, her I'm building a case rhythm. One night, after Margaret, the treasurer turns up wringing her hands about unusual activity. Sarah's scrolling through HOA financials on her laptop. Look at this, she says, pointing at years of emergency fees and special assessments. $340,000, all paid to some construction company called Pine Ridge Services. Never heard of them. Neither had the state. Turns out, the address is Rick Whitfield's house, Karen's brother-in-law. The pattern's clear. Fake emergencies, shell companies, assessments that disappear without a trace. Sarah's run cases with smaller numbers. And everyone who complains? They get targeted, bullied, nudged, until they sell and disappear. The air in the kitchen feels heavier than altitude. It's not just us. Karen's stealing from everyone. A couple days later, Karen escalates again. We get a certified letter from her husband's law firm, city councilman moonlighting as her private lawyer. Cease and desist, it says. Remove all surveillance. Claims we're violating neighbors' privacy. Sarah reads it, laughs. Colorado law says you can record on your own property. The letter's just meant to scare us. We aren't biting. Friday night, Karen calls an emergency HOA meeting. She wants the whole neighborhood to turn on us. The room feels like a courtroom, coffee, sweat, and tension everywhere. She puts on a PowerPoint show, lists our sins, unauthorized modifications, aggressive surveillance, hostile behavior. Her fans nod along. The rest of the room looks confused or tired or both. Sarah stands, slow and calm, and asks, "Shouldn't we review proper procedures for disciplinary action?" Karen snaps, "Residents don't question board authority." Sarah's face is pure steel. Colorado law requires due process. Notice, evidence, right to respond. Legal action needs a majority of all members, not just whoever's here tonight. Karen stammers about proxy votes. The secretary, Carol, admits none were submitted. The board members start shifting in their seats. Karen's argument falls apart right in front of everyone. On the way out, Karen corners Sarah, whispers, "Some people just don't belong here." Sarah leans in, voice low, "You're absolutely right. Some people don't." The next morning, Sarah calls me over to her laptop. She's been up all night, and her eyes have that tired but triumphant look. "Look," she says, "these special assessments, all of them, the money's gone. No permits, no work done, just transfers to Rick and Karen's accounts." She walks me through it. Insurance fraud, false claims, real estate sales all routed through Karen's company. People bullied into selling low. The numbers are mind-blowing. $425,000 gone, 14 families pushed out, every sale handled by Karen, every improvement routed through her family. This isn't some HOA drama. This is organized crime. And my wife, the one who always claimed to be just a financial investigator, she's been quietly building a federal case this whole time. By Sunday, she lays it all out: federal badge, credentials, asset forfeiture paperwork. She tells me, "Jake, it's time to stop playing defense." She recruits a few neighbors, Tom the accountant, Margaret the paralegal. They've all been quietly gathering evidence. Now, with Sarah at the helm, it's like watching a SWAT team of retirees and a U.S. Marshal take down a mafia family. Within a week, Karen's desperation gets louder. Vandalism starts. My flower beds get trashed, irrigation lines cut, cameras spray painted. Margaret calls, terrified. Someone tried her back door at midnight. Rick and his crew accidentally drop a massive pine branch through my fence, then send me a $3,200 bill for the repairs. Sarah photographs everything. Each move is another nail in Karen's legal coffin. Then the big one. Monday morning, police sirens. 2 cruisers. Karen, in full victim mode, tells the deputies that we've threatened her, harassed the board, changed locks to hide evidence. She demands a search right there. The officers look skeptical, but they have to investigate. Sarah steps forward, calm as ever, pulls her badge. Deputy U.S. Marshal, Financial Crimes Division, currently investigating federal felonies committed by this HOA. You could hear a pin drop. Karen tries to talk her way out, but the deputies aren't buying it. Filing false reports is a felony, Sarah reminds her, especially when it's meant to obstruct federal law. Karen's color drains away. She finally realizes she's not the biggest fish in this pond. Thursday night, Final emergency HOA meeting. Karen, out of moves, tries to whip up the crowd. She calls Sarah out for illegal investigations. Sarah stands, shows her badge, lays out the charges. Tom backs her up with thick folders of evidence. Margaret testifies to the harassment. Residents finally connect the dots. Just then, 3 federal agents walk in, announce Karen and Rick's arrest for fraud, racketeering, insurance crimes. The handcuffs click. The room erupts in applause. Justice, right there in the community center with the neighbors watching. 3 months later, the whole mountain feels lighter. Tom's elected HOA president in a 4-minute landslide. Financial transparency becomes the rule. Karen, 4 years federal prison, $425,000 restitution, permanent HOA ban. Rick, 18 months and no more construction work. Residents get refund checks. The toxic meetings and drama are replaced by actual potlucks and laughter. Margaret runs the new scholarship fund, channeling her paralegal expertise into mentoring the next generation. Sarah gets promoted. Apparently, HOA fraud is way more common than you'd think. She starts leading a national task force. My furniture business is booming. Folks love a contractor who helped take down the neighborhood mob boss. The garden we fought over now feeds families instead of Karen's bank account. You know what gets me? The lesson wasn't about revenge. It's about standing up, organizing, refusing to be bullied by people who think power makes them untouchable. Sometimes the system works. Sometimes justice comes with compound interest. Karen gets to reflect on all this from a federal cell. Our community gets a fresh start. But let me ask you, just between us, where do you draw the line between authority and abuse? When does community standards become a license for corruption? I'd love to hear your story. Ever had a run-in with an HOA tyrant or someone who tried to intimidate you with fake rules? Drop your own experience below. I read every single one, and trust me, you're not alone. Sometimes justice just needs a little nudge.